Welcome everyone to another Mount and Blade Bannerlord video. In this video we are going to be kind of going over more in depth the kind of start of the game and building your character and what each trait kind of means and doing a better explain, because in my other video it was kind of rushed and I just kind of tried to get to the point of that the tournament is the easiest way to make some quick money in the game, which I find it is. But it's completely up to personal preference. So, alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go campaign, and I'll explain all the 6 stars and what they'll do for you. Okay, so Valandians. Valandians, they give you a 20% more upgrade in XP to troops from battles. So this, as I said, the 3 good ones are Valandians, Empire and Azuri, but it's up to you completely. If you want to use the ones you can. So with Valandians, you'll start out, you'll get some troops and you'll get them as peasants. They're coming from villages and they'll start out as peasants. And each battle they fight, in each battle they win, they will get experience from it. So they'll get stronger, you can then upgrade them for gold, which is why the gold is so important at the start, so you can get lots of gold. This means that then you can get a nice army up quite quickly. Because you have that 20% buff, that means troops upgrade quite a lot quicker, which is obviously very useful to have at the start of the game. And then next we have sturgeons. So sturgeons are, I'll read out the paragraph. Sturgeons are the descendants of foreign tribes of northern Calradia. As the Empire expanded into their cold forests, they found a ready market for the luxurious furs of woodland animals whom they traditionally hunted and trapped. Sturgeon chieftains became princes, vying for preeminence with the help of the Nord mercenaries who migrated into their realm. They are good hunters and wanderers, travelling far in search of opportunities both for trade and for plunder. So they get a debuff. They get a buff that they'll take less damage. They'll take less debuffs in the snow. So I think what the snow does, it slows you down. I think maybe you have a risk of your troops getting sick. I'm not really sure on this, and maybe they eat more food. So maybe that kind of reduces that buff. Again, it could be just the speed penalty, but it could have some other side effects. So it's whatever you want to choose. But a speed penalty, if it's just a speed penalty, which I think it is, it's not really worth doing, because these first traits, you can get some good ones off them. Anyway, so we'll move on to the Empire. So the Calradian Empire is in decline. Even before the murder of Emperor Arenikos, the once united realm was torn by political rivalries. Today, those factions are in open war, yet Calradians endure. They are technologically more advanced than their neighbours, and their mastery of engineering is not just evident in their aqueducts, beautiful architecture and massive city walls. It also makes them experts in siege warfare. So that's where their buff kind of comes in, their construction speed buff. So it means it's kind of more of a mid-game thing when you're trying to take over castles, you're trying to build stuff in your villages, your towns, anything you have, wall repairs, siege machines, it all comes down to this. So basically normally it'll take quite a while to build this stuff, and then with this buff it means you can build it kind of quicker. But then again, this is more of a mid-game thing, so if you're looking for kind of an early game buff, I would actually recommend either Valandians or Azuri. Next we'll move on to the Azuri. The Azuri are the inhabitants of the Nahaza Desert, a mixture of nomadic Bedouin and settled oasis farmers. They are famous for their horsemanship and their knowledge of learning of many lands, especially medicine, gained from lying on some of the continent's most lucrative trade routes. Each clan is fiercely proud of its lineage and often jealous of the others, but when united by a charismatic leader, they could become a major force in the south. So this means that, this is kind of self-explanatory, but this is kind of for people that want to be traders in the game. They want to roleplay as a trader. They don't really want to focus too much on war and stuff. They want to just become rich. And the best way to do that is obviously Azuri, because then your caravans, you can get caravans, and they're 30% cheaper to build, which is a lot cheaper. That's quite a big, nice knock off how much it is. And then there's a 10% less trade penalty, which means obviously your goods will get, they'll make more money. Nevertheless, let's move on. Khuzaits. The Khuzait Confederation of steppe tribes used to live a nomadic life, but have recently settled in the eastern frontier of the empire, and are slowly transitioning into an agrarian society, agrarian, something like that, society with permanent town centres. Despite this, they still retain many aspects of their nomadic life, including their affinity with horses. They are masters of mounted archery, shooting, and then galloping out of reach. So they get a 10% extra speed bonus for horsemen on campaign map, which it's alright. It means if you have horsemen in your army, you'll go faster. If you're an army of horsemen, definitely could be useful for you, but a lot of people don't just have horsemen, you'll have archers and infantry. So this buff isn't the best, in my opinion. Again, if that's what you want to go with, more of a challenge, or that is what you think is going to benefit you, obviously go with that. But I don't think it's great. So yeah, we'll move on. So the Battanians. The Battanians still remember the olden days when the woods stretched across northern Calradia and the Empire and its cities had yet to violate their sanctity. The fierce warriors remain loyal to their traditional ways. They paint their faces when going to battle, and even their noblemen prefer to fight on foot while using great axes and two-handed swords with deadly efficiency. So these guys, they'll move quicker in forests, so they're kind of forest dwellers, they live in forests. This kind of, again, isn't great. I mean, there's a lot of forests in Calradia, but just that isn't comparable really to the Zuri Valandians in the Empire. So, Battanians, if you think you're gonna be around a lot of forests, go for it, but otherwise, not really worth it. So next thing, making a character. This is, you can do what you want here. I'm just going to stick some clothes on so it looks more appropriate. I think females it's harder for them in the world, just because obviously it was in medieval times. But for men, I think it'll be alright. It doesn't really affect much if you change what you look like or anything like that. So you should be good with that. Now this is where I didn't really explain very well or really explain very much. So you can choose which path you'd like to go down. Again, I'll show you that each of these you pick will change what your parents are. So say you go with the Empire, you can have landlord, retainers, urban merchants, freeholders, urban artisans, foresters, or urban vagabonds. It differentiates on where you pick. Again, I'll just go with the first one because that's what I recommend picking, or if you want to be a trader, the other one. So you can be Baron's Retainers. So this will help you with your riding. Riding is your personal riding of a horse, and that's about it. It means you get better handling and you'll go a bit faster. Pole arms is spears, lances, staffs, and other pole arms, both one-handed and two-handed. So that's kind of if you want to be a horse rider, you want to ride and charge into battle. And the description of this path is: your father was a bailiff for a local feudal magnate. He looked after his liege's estates, resolved disputes in the village, and helped train the village levy. He rode with the Lord's cavalry, fighting as an armoured knight. So yeah, he was kind of a horseman. So, urban merchants. So, with this one, your family were merchants in one of the main cities of the kingdom. They organised caravans to the nearby towns, were active in the local merchants' guild. So this is going to help improve your charm. That'll help for if you're trying to make a person like you and or trust you. That's quite useful for that. Then trade, obviously that's if you want to be a trader. Obviously it's in the merchant's name. A merchant goes around trading and stuff. So again, if you're trying to go for that trader path, definitely would recommend the urban merchants. So yeomen. Your family were small farmers with just enough land to feed themselves and make a small profit. People like them were the pillars of the kingdom's economy as well as the backbone of the levy. So going down as well, you're going to get worse starts. So the poorer and poorer your family will be. So as you see go down, you get poorer and poorer. But with yeomen, you upgrade with your crossbow. Obviously you can shoot better with a crossbow, and again pole arms, so riding cavalry. So then with the urban blacksmith, your family owned a smithy in a city. Your father played an active, if minor, role in the town council and also served in the militia. So this is if you want to upgrade your smithing. That's how to forge metal, how to handle blades, turn pole arms, sew scales, and other skills useful in the assembly of armor, weapons, and armor. So that's if you want to be a smithy, you want to build your own weapons, you want to do all that. That is quite expensive, but it can work quite well. So then, and the other part is two-handed. That's self-explanatory. If you want to use two-handed big axes, swords, things that are going to chop people in half. Obviously not literally, because it's just a game, but the big damage-dealing weapons is the one you want to go for. Now hunters, obviously, will upgrade you to crossbow because they're hunters, but also you get scouting, which is how to scan the wilderness for life, follow tracks, spot movements. Basically, you can see further on the map. Your family lived in a village but did not own their own land. Instead, your family supplemented paid jobs with long trips in the woods, hunting and trapping, always keeping a wary eye for the Lord's game wardens. So, again, this is starting to go into the breaking the law, but not fully. And then you have mercenaries. So, your father joined one of Valandia's many mercenary companies, composed of men who got such a taste for war in their lord's service that they never took well to peace. Their crossbowmen were much valued across Calradia. Your mother was a camp follower, taking you along in the wake of bloody campaigns. So this is kind of bottom of the bottom. You're not very well known. It's going to be quite hard to start out. So again, you get the buff with crossbows and roguery. This is for bribing guards, intimidate people, knowing what you can and can't get away with. Kind of if you want to be a criminal, rob caravans, all that, starve towns of resources and then go to that town and buy stuff off it. Yeah, you can do that. So, yeah, again, up to you. Okay, so for the childhood, again, these are kind of self-explanatory, but I will go over them. This is going to be a slightly longer video because I'm trying to explain all of the points on the left-hand side. So, your leadership skills. If the wolf pup gang of your early childhood had an alpha, it was definitely you. All the other kids followed your lead as you decided what to play and where to play, and led them in games and mischief. So this will up your tactics. So that's getting your troops to orders and stuff, prediction of tactics that will and won't work, and getting your troops more organised, and they'll be better fighting. Leadership. That's the ability to inspire your troops. You can fill individuals' confidence and stir up enthusiasm and courage in larger groups. So that's basically if you want to be kind of leading an army, a good general. So brawn. This is more for if you want to make a good fighter out of yourself. You were big and the other children looked to have you around. So I'll read it out. You were big and the other children looked to have you around in any scrap with children from a neighbouring village. You pushed a plough and throw an axe like an adult. So that comes in with the throwing. You can use throwing projectiles, and you're two-handed, so big chopping weapons again. Your attention to detail, again, this is kind of smarts and stuff. So athletics, that improves how fast you run. Your physical abilities. One-handed, that's swords, maces, any one-handed weapons you can think of, that's that. You were quick on your feet and attentive to what was going on around you. Usually you could run away from trouble, though you could give a good account of yourself in a fight with other children if cornered. So that's kind of like you're a runner, but you can still fight. Your aptitude for numbers. So this is the smart pass. Sorry, I got it mixed up earlier. This is the one if you want to be smart. So most children around you had only the most rudimentary education, but you lingered after class to study letters and mathematics. You were fascinated by the marketplace, weights and measures, tallies and accounts, the chatter about profits and losses. So this ups your trade, again helps with if you want to be a trader and trade with people. And engineering, that's again building buildings and how quick you'll build them and how good you build them and all that. So pretty self-explanatory. Then you have your way with people. So you were always attentive to other people, good at guessing their motivations. You studied how individuals were swayed and tried out what you learned from adults on your friends. So this ups your social kind of skills. So your leadership's upped. So your ability to inspire and fill your troops with courage and stuff. Charm, the ability to make people like you, that again, good traits. Your skill with horses. So this is, you want to be a horse rider as such, and a medic. You were always drawn to animals and spent as much time as possible hanging out in the village stables. You could calm horses, and were sometimes called upon to break in new colts. You learn the basics of veterinary arts, much of which is applicable to humans as well. So yeah, medic, and riding. So horse riding and medicine is actually quite good, but you can get some followers to do your medical stuff for you. Okay, so next bit. At the town watch training grounds, you watch the town's watch practice shooting and perfect their plans to defend the walls in case of siege. So this is going to up your crossbow, because obviously you'll be on the wall with crossbow, and your tactics. So again, I've been over them already. With alley gangs, again, one-handed, that's going to up it. Roguery, again, if you're going for a more criminal lifestyle, that's your kind of thing. At docks and building sites. So this will up your smithing, again if you want to craft your own weapons, and athletics, so it kind of ups your physical strength and stuff. In the markets and caravanaries. So this will up your trade, again if you want to be a trader, go for it. Charm, again good for a trader. Reading and studying, if you want to be a smart person, so building's good, and your leadership's good, it's always good. And then working at the stables for upping your riding and your steward. So the knowledge of what makes a settlement prosper. This helps you manage your estates, your towns, anywhere you own. It means that they'll do better and be happier, people that live there. Okay, so as your youth, you train with the cavalry. Again, this is kind of points we've been over. Polearm, you're a lancer, you're going to smash people riding your horse. You smash into them with your lance and then ride off. Again, increase your riding skill. You stood guard with the garrison. Again, I think this is a good class 2 pick. It ups your crossbow and ups your engineering. But it means you get a sword, shield and bow at the start, and a horse. Rode with the scouts. That means you're more of an archer kind of person. You're a scout, you stay back, you shoot. Train with the infantry, you're an infantry kind of fighter. Skirmisher, you use javelins and your sword. And then march with the camp followers, you're kind of a spearman with the shield. So yeah, so this is another big decision. You defeat an enemy in battle. Again, if you want to up your battle skills, do that. You led a successful manhunt. That's good to calculating and leadership and tactics. Good for them. You invested some money in a workshop. Again, merchants. Again, all of these. If you want to build on what your character's going to be. Is he going to be a beast at fighting? Is he going to smash the tournaments? What's he going to do? Is he more of a shooter? He stays back and shoots. He throws. He has power in his arm. Is he a scout more? He has good athletics. He's light on his feet. He can ride quickly. Is he a smith? Is he gonna? Are you gonna build your weapons, build armor for people and sell it? Are you a scout? Again, that kind of comes into this, with being wary of what you do and always being ready to fight when you need to, but being quite cautious. Roguery. You're gonna be a criminal. Are you going to lead just everyone hates you, basically. Just everyone hates you and is going to try and kill you because you're a rogue. Tactics. Do you want to be a great military strategist? Charm. Do you want to be the most charming person in the land and capture ladies and capture people's trust and be well liked? Or ladies or men, whatever you're into. Leadership. Again, do you want to be a great leader? Do you want to lead your armies into battle with great strength? Trade, you want to be a merchant. Steward, you want to own land, you want to govern it well. Medic, you want to be a doctor kind of, almost, for your men and help them out. Engineering, you want to be quite good at building stuff and building your buildings, so it's quite useful. So survive the siege, again, self-explanatory. So again, you go kind of get the gist, because I'm kind of droning on at this point and I've explained everything. But all these, it's kind of up to you fully with what you want to do. I've explained all the stuff and which routes you can go down. Name yourself what you want. Again, for difficulty settings, I would recommend your first time playing reduced to 2 out of 3. And the easy mode, just easy mode. makes it a little more comfortable when starting. Again, you can enable death if you want, so you can play on as your son when you die, but it's completely up to you. And then you can start from there. And I think that's going to about wrap it up for this today's video, guys, because now you know everything you need to do when building your character. I hope you stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video and you want to hear more tips on Mount & Blade, Bannerlord, if you'd like me to do a Let's Play series, please tell me in the comments. I'm happy to do a Let's Play series. Thank you everyone for watching. Goodbye.